What's going on, everyone? So, based on reports, DeMarcus Cousins is to have a free agent workout with LA on Friday. So, the Lakers are going to bring DeMarcus Cousins in tomorrow for a workout to see if they want to give him a 10-day contract or maybe even just sign him outright, right? They still have an roster spot open. DeMarcus Cousins could be a great addition. He does have chemistry with LeBron, with AD. He could be kind of an enforcer, big body down low, especially against like the bigger centers like Jokic, Embiid, right? We're playing the Sixers coming up. So all of those games could be very important for the Lakers team. And having a guy like DeMarcus Cousins, especially with Anthony Davis out, could be huge. He's a guy that could space the floor, knock down the three ball. He can rebound. He can do a little bit of everything. He's also a really good passer, which is something that's always kind of gone unlooked or overlooked for his career, which I think is interesting as well. So he could be a really nice piece and really dynamic for this Lakers team. Now, personally, he's not my favorite choice, as if many of you have been subscribed to this channel for a while, I've relayed that, which I'll touch on in a minute. But I do have concerns about DeMarcus Cousins if he were to come to the Lakers. One is just, the obvious, which is health. Right? Can he stay healthy? Can he be a key contributor for the duration of the season? He's a guy that even last season only played 48 games. He has a hard time playing more than like 15 minutes a game. And if he does, he usually misses a couple days after that. But based on reports, he has been working out 6 days a week, trying to get his body right, trying to get everything ready so he can have a return to the NBA. If he can be a guy that can come in, guard, defend, get rebounds, shoot the long ball, all of that stuff, run the floor, which is key because the Lakers are up there. They're one of the better teams in pace, fast break points, right? So you need a big that can run the floor as well. So DeMarcus Cousins is going to have to be up and down the court. He's going to have to hustle, especially with guys like LeBron James and Russell Westbrook. We see how Thomas Bryant is so effective because he can run the floor so well. I mean, how many times have we seen, LeBron and Russell Westbrook running down the court? They get to the hoop, they miss, and you have Thomas Bryant right there to clean it up and get the putback, right? Like, that is huge. Can DeMarcus Cousins do that? Is he going to be able to handle that type of workload? Now, we don't need him to play, 40 minutes a game. We only need him probably roughly 15 minutes a game, but it would be nice to have him rather than us always having to go small. He is a guy that could play next to Thomas Bryant. He's a guy that could play next to Anthony Davis. You could run them both. So I wouldn't mind keeping him long term if the fit is in fact a solid fit and he can play the role that we need him to play. He just wants to be in the league, right? And the other thing is too is just his mental, right? Like even Bob Myers has said like, hey, one of the reasons you're not in the league is because people are afraid of what you're going to do. People don't know how you're going to act, how you're going to respond. Is he going to be a technical machine out there on the court? We're not that good to where we can afford, a couple free baskets every couple games or every game, right? So he's got to be able to remain level-headed as well if he's on this Lakers team. He can't be hurting us. We need him to come in and actually play a solid role and be a piece. He could get what Damian Jones should be getting minutes-wise. And also, this would just give Thomas Bryant a nice little break, who has been fantastic for us. But you don't want to run him to the ground, right? And when AD comes back, it would be a nice center rotation of, Boogie, AD, Thomas Bryant, winning Gabriel, and also LeBron James, because LeBron James is playing a lot of four. But now you have a nice big rotation. Guys can get, solid minutes. Boogie, is he going to be okay with having DMPs some nights? Because that's very possible. He could have some DMPs some nights. He would be a valuable contributor if he can play. But again, he's not really my favorite. Personally, I still lean towards Hassan Whiteside. Now, I don't mind giving Boogie a shot if he has a good workout, right? If he has a great workout, then yeah, give him a chance, right? Because what if he is perfect? What if he does come in and he is that guy that just, he gets that chemistry with Russ, right? Because, think of how well our bigs have been playing with Russ. Imagine if DeMarcus Cousins is able to do that, right? He can stretch the floor. So now you got a pick and pop threat. You got a big body who can guard the big centers in the league, right? You could start him. You could have him come off the bench. You could do whatever. But if he doesn't work, I really want the Lakers to take a look at Hassan Whiteside. I think Hassan Whiteside is, in many ways, a big answer to a lot of our problems, which is rebounding and shot blocking, right? Like, if we can get Hassan Whiteside, and he can, again, he has his issues too, right? He thinks he's Anthony Davis when in reality he's not. He's had concerns about just being a locker room guy and playing his role and accepting his role. So, but a big piece of humble pie was given to him, right? He still doesn't have a team. So if he can kind of, swallow that, come in, give us a solid workout, and be a contributor and just say, okay, I'm willing to do the intangible. I mean, look at like Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard was great for us in that title run because he accepted the role of just being that rebounder, the shot blocker, the defender, all of those things. If Hassan Whiteside could do the same thing, Hassan Whiteside's still relatively young for NBA standards, right? And he still can have that athleticism. He could be a lob threat. He could block shots. He could rebound. Like Hassan Whiteside would be perfect. He's a floor running big. That could be huge, right? Because that's what we're going to need DeMarcus Cousins to do. Like last thing we need is everybody running down the court full speed trying to get a play done, and DeMarcus Cousins is, straggling along. Like he's got to be willing to run the floor and be able to run the floor, right? So you need to be able to make sure that he can do all those things. If not, I think you take a look at Hassan Whiteside, who can do those things. He can run the floor. He could play the Thomas Bryant role and be that guy that's just getting putbacks. All right, be a lob threat for LeBron and AD, and even AD, but LeBron and Russ, right? Having Russ and LeBron just tack the paint and then have him, roll into the basket, like that'd be great. You could run the pick and roll with him. Like he could be a real threat. So if it doesn't work out with DeMarcus Cousins, which I would hope it does, right? I would love to see DeMarcus Cousins have success, right? I would love to see DeMarcus Cousins actually be a part of the team when we win a championship, right? He ended up being the odd man out. I believe he still got his ring, but it's not the same, when you're sitting sidelines as opposed to actually being in the games and being a contributor. I would love to see DeMarcus Cousins come in and us be really good, If we can get DeMarcus Cousins and he is great and he does play a really solid role for us, well, now we don't have to go look at another big, which personally I still don't think we necessarily need. I'd rather them go DeMarcus Cousins or Hassan Whiteside rather than going and trading for a Miles Turner or something like that. Not that Miles Turner isn't great, but, I just think that there are bigger pressing needs than another center, another big man, right? Primarily wing depth, right? We could really use some size out on the perimeter. So if we could go and get a guy like DeMarcus Cousins who can come in and play minutes and be solid and be a real key contributor with AD out, and then when AD comes back, well, now that's one less need we need that we just got for free, essentially, right? Because he was just a free agent signing. And now we can go look and make those trades to go get, maybe you get a Boyan in another piece, or, go get Cam Reddish, because there's reports that, they only want 2 seconds for Cam Reddish. So maybe you could do both at that point. Or maybe you could go look at like a Hornets trade or something, or a Spurs trade, but now you don't need Jakob Poeltl, right? So maybe you could get just Josh Richardson and Doug McDermott and get a huge, 21 million, whatever it is, trade exception. And now you have that trade exception to go get another piece, right? And the Lakers can now kind of put together a more well-rounded depth type of roster. The Lakers really need starting level talent. Like that's what they need more than anything, right? Especially if you can keep Russ. If you can find like 2 or 3 pieces for starting level talent without having to give up Russ, that's huge. Because now you basically have a legit starting 5 with like Dennis Schroeder, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and then let's say it is like Josh Richardson, and then you have like Cam Reddish, right? Something like that. You got some size. Or maybe you go LeBron at the 3 and you go big with like Davis and Thomas Bryant. Whatever, right? That's much better than like 3 point guards and, LeBron and Davis. I'd rather have that because now you got some size, got some shot block, you got some floor space, you got some shooting, whatever, right? The Lakers could put something like that together, then that would be great. And then now you have this depth chart, and all of the guys that were starting are now coming off the bench. And if they can maintain that production, well, now our bench just gets that much bolstered, which we already have a great bench, but it's because of Russell Westbrook, right? Russell Westbrook is the one that's really driving that bench with just being that playmaker that he is, as well as the points that he does score. So if we could get him some help on the bench rather than him having to play with a bunch of like non-shooters and them just packing the paint and making things difficult. Well, now if we could have like our Austin Reeves and guys like that off the bench with Russ, have a DeMarcus Cousins who can stretch the floor, Thomas Bryant who could stretch the floor. Now that just opens the lane for Russ so much more. So he can now be more effective, more efficient. That could be huge as well. And now we got just a more well-rounded roster. The Lakers definitely need size in the perimeter. They definitely could use some size down low. I don't think it's a huge need, I think, it looks like it right now because we don't have Anthony Davis. And yes, it's very possible Anthony Davis misses more time, but especially come the playoffs, right? Like, again, if we make the playoffs, but, come playoff time, you don't need 5 centers on your roster. Like, if they go and sign DeMarcus Cousins, hopefully they can move off of Damian Jones, and then that way you could have DeMarcus Cousins for the long haul. Not just that, but if DeMarcus Cousins is great for us, then he kind of gives us some insurance for, Thomas Bryant, guys like that, because are we going to be able to keep Thomas Bryant? Thomas Bryant is playing out of his mind, right? He is playing so well that he's probably earned himself a real contract. So if you could get a guy like a DeMarcus Cousins to come in and just be like a real force and actually be able to play, and like a guy that's like, okay, we could see him being here for a while, then that just kind of gives us a little insurance to where, okay, like now we don't need to panic, right? So it's not even just about this season, it's about future seasons as well. So DeMarcus Cousins is still young. He's 32 years old, so he's not that old to where it's like, he can't really contribute. He's not 40. So I do think DeMarcus Cousins, if he comes in, I think he could be a real valuable asset. I think he could be a guy that could really help this team. He has chemistry with Darvin Ham. That's something else I didn't mention, right? Because he played for the Milwaukee Bucks with Darvin Ham. So him and Darvin Ham have a relationship, which I think will be huge. He'll be able to come in and get him integrated into this team, into this roster. And now you kind of have this big man lineup. I mean, Boogie could be a huge factor. I mean, look, Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins in New Orleans was looking like a powerhouse until DeMarcus Cousins got hurt, right? And then he comes to the Lakers, and it was still a little rocky. He had his moments. He had some solid moments, but for the most part, it was a little rocky, right? Because, he couldn't stay healthy. It took him a while. He wasn't ready for the beginning of the season, and it's just, so he ends up being the odd man out. And he was great in Denver in the limited time that he played in Denver. He looked like a real solid contributor, right? He averaged like 9 points and 6 rebounds, something like that, 9 and 6, something like that, for in a backup role. So if he could give us just that, like, we don't need him to give us 30 a night or anything like that. We don't need prime DeMarcus Cousins. It would be nice, don't get me wrong, but we just need a guy. Can he come in, play 15, 20 minutes a game, and give us 10 points a game, right? That would be absolutely solid, especially with LeBron James and Russell Westbrook just feeding him and putting him in position to where he can be effective. If he can do that, that would be fantastic. Hit a couple threes a game, perfect. That's all we could ask for. Play some solid defense, which I do have concerns about it, just his movement. Like, how is his movement going to look? But that's what the workout's for, right? You're going to do the workout. You're going to see, how does DeMarcus Cousins move? How does he work? I imagine that they run him in some schemes to kind of see if he can operate in their offense. I'm sure they'll run him through an extensive workout to really see and evaluate him and know like what the answer is. So it'll be interesting. We'll see if they end up signing him over the weekend or something like that. Then that means he had a good workout. I would also hope that maybe we get some tape or something. That would be kind of cool. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Would you love DeMarcus Cousins? Would you not? Are you all for DeMarcus Cousins? Are you like me that kind of prefers Whiteside? Look, I'm all for giving DeMarcus Cousins a chance. Like I said, I'm okay with giving DeMarcus Cousins a chance. It's just, if he doesn't work out, I really hope the Lakers take a look at Hassan Whiteside. That's my thoughts. But anyway, love to hear yours down in the comment section.